Hey guys, Oli back here, and today I got this little guy, the Nikon 1J5. I've been using it a lot recently for vlogging, and today we're gonna find out if this could be the best vlogging cam out there for the price and for the size actually. Let's find out. Let's start with the look of the J5. What makes it perfect for vlogging? This, the tiltable screen. And everybody who has been vlogging out there with a camera which doesn't have a tiltable screen knows what I mean, because a tiltable screen is pretty much essential when you're vlogging for checking if you're in the picture, if your focus is right, or even if your picture is off. So a tiltable screen is and must have on a vlogging camera. Also, the screen is a touch screen, and while I don't use it that much as I could have, because I think the scroll wheels are a faster option, it's still nice to have it. Something else that you wouldn't actually think that you can find in such a little body here is a flash. And how to operate it? Well, let's just put the camera in manual and auto mode, and then we have a little button here on your left side of the camera, and if you press that, click, the flash actually comes up, and then you can just press it down again and it'll get back into the camera body, so it won't stick out or break off, because it is a little insecure and unstable. So I guess you gotta be careful with that, but it's nice to have it in such a little body. Also on the left hand side here we have all the connections. The J5 comes with a micro USB port. The thing with this is, and I come to that a little bit later, you can't charge it with your smartphone cable, but I'll talk about that in a second. Also, we have micro HDMI, so if you want to connect it, for example, to your television to watch some movies you just shot with it, that'll be fine if you got the right cable. On the bottom we have the tripod mount, which I usually use with a GorillaPod. So for vlogging, a GorillaPod, in case you nice that, you know what I mean. Also on the bottom we got the port for your storage, your micro SD card, which a lot of people don't really like with the J5 because they can't just use their normal big SD cards, so you have to use some micro SD cards, and also your battery, but I'll come to the battery in a second. So on the top we got firstly this wheel here where we can set the different settings for example auto, P, SA and manual mode, but also film mode and sport mode and all of that, but I come to the different modes also in a second, just so we can get a quick review of the whole body. Next to that we got the on off switch and the shutter, and next to that we got a wheel for zooming in and zooming out on the pictures when you're in viewing mode, but also extra button just for capturing videos, so that's nice to have. Then if we come and take a look at the front part, we see that we have this wheel for controlling the whole menu if you don't want to use the touch button. We got stuff like flash, the functions key, the key for multiple pictures, and the exposure key. Then we got the menu button, and we got a button for getting into the gallery. We got a button for turning on Wi-Fi, which the J5 also supports, and of course we got the button to erase pictures and stuff like that. On the front of your camera of the J5 we got the functions key and also the release key for the lens. So the video quality of the J5. We can record videos in 720p in 30 and 60 frames per second, but also in 1080p in 30 to 60 frames per second, which is nice. I'd recommend 60 frames per second and 1080p for vlogging if you got enough space on your SD cards. Then something else that Nikon really likes to put out there to the masses with the J5 is 4K. The thing is, it only records at 15 frames per second, which is a little sad because 4K is getting huge these days. Well, the 15 frames per second is what ruins it, because 15 frames per second is just stuttering, and unless you're gonna quicken it up in the after edit, you're just gonna be left there with a 4K image, but it's just stuttering. Now something else when we come to picture quality, something that really fucked me over in the end when I did my vlogging stuff, because I had selfie mode activated. What is selfie mode? Well, you see, you can use the camera, the J5, just like this, and it'll just record in the normal settings. That's the normal mode. But as soon as you flip your screen, it'll turn into selfie mode, and that just gives you a little bit more accessibility over exposure and stuff like that, and focus and selfie mode. But the thing is, you can't adjust at what resolution you record anymore. So it'll standard record at 1080p at 30 frames per second, sorry. And I was recording my whole vlogging trip in 720p 60 frames per second. So when I got into the edit afterwards, my images were all cropped and way too fast, so just half of the images were pretty screwed, so I had to convert everything. And unless you really want to convert everything, just turn selfie mode off. It's just rubbish in my opinion, so selfie mode gets a big thumbs down for me. So let's talk about audio. We got a couple of microphones in the J5, and I have to say, they're actually really good. This right here is actually recorded on the J5, and the audio quality you're hearing here is also from the J5 and picture quality. So I'm here in my room. This behind me is my camera, my microphone, but this all is recorded on the J5, so here you got a little picture sample and audio test. So test, does this sound good? Great. Back to you. Let's talk about VLAN, because that's another thing that Nikon really promotes with the J5, that you could just stream your pictures over to your smartphone just over VLAN, over the app. So no cable required. Well, yes, it works, and you even got a specifically little button down here, specifically for VLAN, but I don't use it that much. It just takes so long, and I just prefer plugging in the camera in itself, or just taking out the micro SD card and putting it in my computer. So yeah, I guess it's a feature, and if you want to use it, it's there, but I don't really use it that much. Okay, well, let's talk about battery. The thing is, with the Nikon J5, it has a pretty small battery. That's the NL24 batteries from Nikon, and I got one huge problem with it while vlogging. You can't charge it while it's in the camera, so you have to take it out, grab another charger, which is this bulky huge thing, and then plug it into the wall outlet, and that's just stupid. I mean, come on, Nikon. Why can't you just make it that you plug in your normal, ordinary smartphone cable into the camera and it charges in there, huh? That would be so much easier for traveling purposes. And many people use the J5 for vlogging, so I just bring my smartphone charger, plug it in, charges. Plug it in my smartphone, charges. Great, huh? Well, no. So you gotta bring this huge, bulky charger every time. I gotta fix this because I bought this small little piece here. We just plug in the battery, and then I can charge it with my smartphone charger. But this is extra, so you gotta buy it from a third company manufacturer. While I was vlogging, the battery usually was good for 1 day. If I didn't record that much, maybe 2. But then I had to charge it. But I mean, that's pretty good. So I had my power bank, and then I just charged it every 1 or 2 days. in the nighttime, and so the battery gets a pretty good. Okay, well, let's come to the different modes that the J5 has. I told you about the scrolling wheel up here. Yeah, well, of course we got auto, but as soon as you experience it a little bit with the J5, you'll find out that it has so much more to grasp than just the auto settings. For example, we got sport mode, which is for rapid firing photos, and then we got the creative mode, and this one comes down to a little bit more. For example, we can shoot things like the panorama, HDR, and the fisheye mode, night mode, and much more. It's just where you really can experiment with this stuff and get some great stuff. Then, of course, the advanced movie mode, and this is my favorite. I usually just keep my J5 in the advanced movie mode all the time. So this is the thing where you could change the camera settings to what resolution and what frame rate you want. And you can film stuff like slow motion, you can film time lapses and other stuff like that. You can even film the thing in 4K with 15 frames per second. Well, we talked about this. But yeah, the advanced movie mode is really the go-to thing if you want to vlog with this thing. Then there are two other modes like motion snapshot and best moment capture. They are pretty self-explanatory. Motion snapshot just creates a little 3-second video of it, I think. And best moment capture, well, it allows you to capture the best moment after and before the shot was taken. Then of course we have the modes P, S, A and M. And those are just regular modes that you got on any normal DSLR. Let's talk about lenses, because one thing that the J5 has a bad side on is the lens system. This is a Nikon 1 lens, so you can't just mount any lens on it that you want. You can't even use your ordinary Nikon lenses on it, because it's a special lens system just for the Nikon 1 cameras. You can buy a bayonet for it, but that's like another 200 or 250 bucks. But then you can use all of your other Nikon lenses on it. But still, I got the 10-30 lens on it here, and that's the cheapest combo, and it's good for vlogging. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you liked the video, and if you got any comments about the Nikon 1 J5 or in general, just leave them down in the comments, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.